I want to encourage you all to open your minds to learning, open your minds to listening carefully, attentively. We would have the keynote speakers, we have stakeholders, we have experts from leading institutions who would be leading us today. So I want to encourage all of us to listen, and I believe that we'll be taking something back home tonight. The conference is going to take place for 4 days, starting today. And today we have two important personals who will be leading us. So please, please, please stay with us. We know that this is going to be successful at the end. So thank you so much for being here with us. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. So I promised I was going to turn on my camera. Ma, has shown her face, so it's a personal challenge for me. I need to show my own face. Okay, so you're all welcome once again. So this is going to be an amazing time. And I don't know if you have friends, if you have groups, if you have communities who where this would definitely be needed. I would, want to plead with us to also inform them that we've started, because I know a lot of people have been waiting for this, and some may have been carried away by one thing or the other. So we can go ahead and inform them, post it on your social media, let people know that we are live, right? And they should start joining. The Zoom link has been sent in the groups and the Telegram group particularly. So you can always copy that and put the link across and invite more people to join us. Okay. Like I said, I'm excited that coming in here and seeing over 20 people ready to learn. That's amazing. Means we have 20, 20 plus willing hands ready to take the education industry to the next level. Okay, willing to take the education industry to the next level. So unfortunately, yeah, I'll still show my face regardless, because what I was depending on to give me the power, my power source just went out. So I don't know. It's definitely too dark. So no, yeah, no. So good. Let's go ahead. I believe you can still see the handsome face on that tiny.
You're gonna send me the soft notes. I didn't see them.
Let me mute. Please mute when you come in. Please mute when you come in. Okay. This is not going to. It's not going to affect our communication. So yeah. The next thing we are going to be doing is, I'll be calling in the executive director, so that we would really want to do this fast and beat the time. But before I do that, I'm saying I want us to actually round off on time, because we know, yes, a lot of people are busy, a lot of people are coming back from work. Like myself, I just came back from work. I'm still dressed in my work clothes. So I know a lot of us are busy and we want to get things, done. That is distracting. Okay, good. So I want to, keep our keynote going. Okay, please don't get distracted by the noise. I've muted. I think I would have to probably, remove the person and let them request to join, because some people may just join and not know what's going on, and not know that their mics are not muted and stuff. Okay, so what we'll be going into is, I would have loved to have everyone say one or two things, but we're already behind time. So I officially welcome you once again, and I want to invite the executive director to give us the official opening address. in the person of Sir Adiola Odusonya. The founder of Emerald Edu Concepts and Services. So he's here to address the house and also welcome us as well. You have the floor, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It is a wonderful time to be here as educators. We are glad that we are here for this conference. Last year, we had something similar like this. And then, of course, it was wonderful. A little background to what brought us together this evening or for the next 4 days. The Educators Conference has been a global shaper in terms of shaping the mindset of educators and helping them to become better persons. In most of the time, we brainstorm, we learn, we discuss together a whole lot of things that is affecting the teaching profession across the globe. And of course, we also have speakers that come around to share their experiences, their knowledge and expertise about what will benefit us as educators. They are global shapers. They are people that have been in the field, and of course, won accolades, and of course, they want to bring in their expertise here. Now, for this conference, we are looking at beyond the classroom. Is one of the topics that are extremely important to us or to me as an educator, because oftentimes we understand that education is moving beyond the classroom. Education is moving beyond the classroom. You agree with me that over time, the traditional teaching has afforded educators to just restrain whatever they are doing beyond the classroom. I had a discussion. This team came into being as a result of a discussion with one of our keynote speakers, the Global Teachers Prize winner, Keisha Top. During my interview with her, I asked her a simple question: why were you chosen? Where were you chosen to become the Global Teachers Prize? She said, of course, luck is part, hard work is part, but more importantly, I want to be a teacher that does more beyond my jurisdiction, beyond the classroom, beyond the four walls of the learning space. She mentioned that I was so optimistic that my role as an educator, my role as a global shaper could go a long way. My role as a global shaper could go a long way in as a global shaper could go a long way in bringing change, desired change to the environment that I find myself. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why we said, oh, this kind of program or beyond the classroom is the next thing that educators should know. Beyond the classroom is what educators should know. So there are a lot of things as educators that we can do beyond the classroom. So this conference will be focusing on some of the things we can do as educators that goes beyond the classroom, that do not only have impact on our community, on our students, but also have impact in our own lives. Some of the things that we can do that can put us at a global framework that can make people to begin to recognize us, become a global voice. Some of the things that we can do that could make us global shapers, affect our environment, our world, and of course the globe entirely. So this conference is going to be is power-packed. We are going to be learning, of course, during the panel session. We are going to be discussing as well, from keynote sessions to training sessions to lectures etc. These are some of the things that have been packed in this program. I want to say that this program is live. This program is live. This program is live on all channels. This program is live on all channels. As far as social media platform, we are live on Facebook, we are live on Instagram, we are live on YouTube, and the like. So, as a result of that, I want to say you are all welcome to today's session, which is the opening session for the conference. Welcome everyone to today's session, and I know that at the end of this conference, you are going to be an extraordinary educator that is shaping the world, that is making impact, that is bringing education, the glory of education better, and of course, that is making the world a better place. Welcome everyone to Educators Conference 2022. I want to say it's going to be a nice time, all of us having together. Thank you so much.
I said, go there.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for that interesting introduction and welcome address. Okay, so he's officially welcoming us to this amazing event. I would want to say, before I bring in the first speaker for today, I would want to first of all, talk about how dear this topic is to my heart. Okay, as well as most of us who are here. It's very, very important that we start thinking about education beyond the four walls of the classroom, both for teachers and the learners themselves. It's painful, it's heartbreaking to see a lot of teachers who know a lot of stuff. They are well grounded in their area of study or their area of expertise, but they still complain of being underpaid. They still complain of not being able to do anything meaningful with all the plenty things they know. So this conference is more like opening the mind of the educators as well as the learners. Okay, there's a lot you can do beyond the classroom. There's a lot you can do beyond the four walls. You can be relevant as an educator. You can make great impact, huge impact in your world, in the world at large. Okay, and for me, teaching is the best career in the world, the best profession in the world, because it is the mother of every other profession. If there's no teacher, there won't be anything else. Okay, so I'm about to bring in our next speaker. Okay, I'm about to bring in our next speaker. So give me, I can see, oh, okay, I was seeing my transcript, so I thought somebody was there. I don't know why so many things are showing on my screen. Okay, so I would like to call on the program director to hold us on for a while. Okay, we can just have a little activity while I bring up the next speaker on stage. So you have the floor for a while. You have the floor.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you, Director Emerald. For those who did not join about 20 minutes ago, I had introduced myself, but I will do that again. My name is Etienne Ntuk, and I am the Director of Programs for Emerald Edu Concept and Services. So you're welcome to learn about beyond the classroom. Here we are going to learn about the impact teachers have or teachers should have beyond the classroom. We've been so confined for a long time within the classroom, that we are not we've not had the privilege to access a lot of opportunities for teachers outside. We've not even had so many opportunities to impact lives outside the classroom. So this particular event for 4 days, we'll be talking about what happens outside the classroom and what impact can you as a teacher, can you as a person, because like I mentioned earlier, there are so many experts here from different fields across life who are here to learn. So we are going to discuss what impacts can you as a person have outside the classroom, outside your field of work. So here we are going to have experts from diverse fields. We're going to have stakeholders, keynote speakers who would be leading us through different discussions. Anything you can think of, any question you can raise about education, about um, learning, anything you can learn, because for today I think we would have the Commissioner for Education for Zamfara State. He'll be here with us. So I think he's filled with so much, so much to discuss with us. He has a lot to share with us about education. So we are going to discuss about education within and without and outside the classroom, and what impact we can have on children outside the classroom. So we are so excited to have you join us this night. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much, because it's so surreal that we are having people who are so eager to learn about impacting the society. So we are so honored to have you here. Welcome once again. And I want to reiterate that this program is going to hold, the conference is going to hold for 4 days, beginning today. So we want all of you, it's going to be very interesting. We plead that you stay with us from today until Sunday. Please stay with us because we have a lot to share, we have a lot to learn. So thank you so much. Thank you and welcome once again.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So our instructor, our coach for tonight, our teacher for tonight is here with us, and I'll be bringing her up on stage. She's no other person but Bumi Anani. Okay, let me quickly share her profile so that we can have a glimpse of it. Okay, so this is, hold on a second, please. Okay. Okay. So yes, we have Bumi and Nani here. So she is an educationist with Concordia College, Yola. Okay, she's reputed for her passion for girl child empowerment through quality education. Bumi Anani is an English language and literature in English teacher with an over 15 years experience in the classroom, kindergarten, primary, and secondary, and she teaches both the national and international curricula for examinations like the WAEC, the WASE, West African Examinations, National Examinations Council, NECO, the Joint Admissions Matriculation Board, JAM, examinations, IGCSE, IELTS, and SAT. Not only is she reputed for her passion towards the educational empowerment of the girl child, but is well known for her commitment to going above and beyond the limiting walls of the classroom to impacting communities. Anani the human-centric educator since 2012 has been giving herself to professional and humanitarian causes, such as outreaches to inmates of correctional facilities in Yola, pre-service and in-service teacher training projects, literacy projects in the camp for internally displaced children, and public speaking competitions for students in Yola, Adamawa State. So let's make welcome the phenomenal Bunmi Anani. Mabumi Anani, you have the floor.
Okay. A very good evening to everyone. Great teachers in the house. I always say something. Introductions. I always say something that the foremost profession ever, the most noble profession, I am qualifying it as the most noble, is teaching profession. It is the only profession that teaches, that produces the other professions. And so I place high premium on the duty of an educator, of a teacher, especially in the 21st century, because as a 21st century teacher, the work is enormous, it's more complex, it's more demanding. I mean, the 21st century teacher has to play the role as in multiple roles, rolled in just one person. I want to say, if you are an educator, as an educator here on this platform, listening to us, participating in this seminar, in this session, I want to say a very big congratulations to you, because you may not recognize it, but I do recognize the fact that teaching is the most noble profession, and you are very lucky to be part of this moving train of change makers, especially in a time like this, the 21st century, when the next generation needs us more than ever before in history. Thank you for the introduction, and I want to say thank you to Emerald Concepts for putting together this timely session for all educators beyond Nigeria. Thank you, and the topic is really timely. It is impact-driven. It is an eye-opener, and it serves as a reminder, to put us on our toes as educators, reminding us that more than ever before, we need to move beyond the four walls of our classrooms, beyond the confines of the curriculum, become more flexible, become more creative, become we become facilitators in our various areas of discipline. And beyond that, we should become more impact-driven, because our calling as educators is that we educate the entire nation, we educate the world and prepare them for the future. This evening, I am privileged to take on the topic, Beyond the Classroom. I feel so excited to have the foremost privilege to anchor or to facilitate this session. And I want to encourage every one of us to be, to be part of this discourse, because it's not going to be unidirectional. It's going to be, I would love us to participate as we progress in this discussion of Beyond the Classroom. Now, once upon a time, let me start this way. We used to see teachers, people used to say that, especially for the female, that teaching is the best option for you as a woman. A few days back, I was discussing with a veteran, and she was like, really, that's in the past, she used to think that teaching was going to be the easiest job ever. But over the years, she has come to realize that the role of a teacher has changed. And so no longer is it easy for veterans or for experienced hands to tell of the coming generation, look, as a woman, I guess the best for you is a teacher. Why? Because teaching today, like I said earlier in my introduction, has become more demanding. The curriculum is complex. Knowledge is vast to the point that the teacher has no choice but to collaborate and to incorporate technology into his presentations in the classroom. So teaching in the traditional mode is no longer as easy. It's no longer as simple. It's no longer as how do I put it? As as shallow. Let me put it that way. As we used to think, to the point that the only profession recommended for the female gender is teaching. Now, whether you're a male or a female, the job is more demanding. So, as against the notion that was proposed by Franklin Bobbitt in 2013. He said that the mandate of a teacher is to follow a set curriculum in making sure that the learner or the student evolves into a functional member of the society. So the key word here is that the teacher is to follow a set curriculum, a predetermined body of knowledge. That was in 2013. Can you imagine? 2013 and now, the margin, the time lapse is not much, but a lot of changes have been recorded over time between 2013 and 2020, that is COVID-19 era. Now, what has changed? The demand on the teacher has changed. The knowledge demanded of a teacher, the subject matter the teacher needs to have, has changed. The interest of our learners has evolved. They are no longer tailored, to regurgitate information or to soak in information like we used to, whereby in the past we learned through rote. But now the learning process has to be tailored in such a way that it meets the interest and the needs of the learner as well as the society. So the teacher is not just giving information, but is giving relevant information that is applicable to the interest of the child, the needs of the society, and to prepare the child for the uncertain future. Jobs are changing. Jobs are being eliminated. New ones are being created. We don't even have an idea the kind of jobs that are in the pipeline to be created. So the modern teacher, the 21st century teacher, has to be on his or her toes 24/7. That is why we are bringing this topic beyond the classroom is so poignant to our discourse tonight, or should I say this week. Now, let us look at the role of a teacher from the perspective of John Dewey and Maria Montessori. John Dewey once said, he said something that is very instructive. He said, we as teachers, we cannot afford to give the same knowledge using the same method to impart information in the present learner, the way we were taught in the past, which means we cannot use the same content and the same methodology. We can't to teach the present day learner and expect to prepare them for the future that is so uncertain. Then Maria Montessori now adds, she says that, okay, fine. The role or the duty of a teacher is to stir up and then allow the life that has been stirred up to be free to develop. You can see that when you look at these two people, these two professionals, their perspectives, it differs in depth, in range, in body to the philosophy that was being premised by Franklin Bobbitt in 2013. Franklin Bobbitt, let me repeat myself, is of the opinion that a teacher traditionally should follow a set criteria, a predetermined body of knowledge, a rote learning kind of learning. But Montessori, and John Dewey have a different opinion. No. A child has interest. A child has needs, especially today's learner. Today's learner learns better when the learning or when the body of knowledge is tailored to meet or to suit his interests, his needs, his temperaments, and his goals. Every child has an objective. Every child has a goal. Every child has a taste. And the 21st century teacher who has an understanding of his or her changing role has to put these factors into cognizance that the child is a living entity with a mind, with a thinking faculty, with needs, with interest, and it's not just a plain board that should be that should be given knowledge that he or she does not need. Now, having clarified the positions of these academic philosophers, Franklin Bobbitt, John Dewey, Maria Montessori, they are now proposing, that is Montessori and John Dewey, that the best way to learn is by doing. Now, let us come back to the topic of discourse, which is beyond the classroom. The multifaceted elements of a 21st century class behoves us to look at this topic very critically, in depth. Today's teacher has a lot of things to grasp. Number one, in your classroom is not just fixated in one location. Today, we have teachers who upload their class content online, which means your classroom is no longer in a single location. The students you are reaching are no longer the 25 or 30 students that you reach or you impact on a daily basis. Rather, the extent, the scope of your student, of the students you reach has gone global. And this factor has to be put into consideration. As we plan our classes. Then number two factor that makes the composition of the modern day classroom different from the past is the fact that as a teacher, you are a co-creator of knowledge. You are no longer the only person who has to create the syllabus or the scheme that your learner needs. You co-create knowledge with your learner. You observe the diversity, the cultural diversity of your learners, and try to represent the cultural uniqueness of each learner, represent it in the illustrations, in the examples, in the practicals that you bring into the classroom, so that every child is represented in your classroom. Not only that, as a teacher, you think ahead of time for your learner. You have to research. You have to be on your toes. You have to be informed. Why? Because jobs are changing. Any knowledge that is obsolete, any knowledge that will not bring your learner at a competitive edge with other global learners is not going to be relevant for that learner. So these are many more are the factors, the elements that makes our current classroom to be different from the classroom we used to know in the past. Now, what does this imply? Beyond the classroom, looking at the needs of our learners, the interests of our learners, and the realities in the world out there. And the fact that the teacher has to be flexible, has to be creative, has to bring other elements to bear. For instance, today we are talking about sustainable development goals. A 21st century teacher who knows his onions cannot play ignorance when it comes to sustainable development goals. The 21st century teacher cannot be ignorant of the 21st century skills, which goes beyond the regurgitation of facts, which goes beyond rote learning to bringing out the potentialities in the learner towards critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, communication skills, leadership skills, the ability to take initiative. Why? Because we are preparing our learners to fit into the ever-changing world of work. You now see that really we have to go beyond the classroom. So what does it mean to go beyond the classroom? To go beyond the classroom means two things to me. It means bringing the world into your classroom and taking your classroom into the world. Bringing the world into your classroom and taking your classroom into the world. The classroom today is not just about your learners, it's also about your content and your methodology. The classroom today is not just about you, it is about partnership between you, your learners, and all the elements. For instance, parents, other educators, and of course, the management of schools. And above all, your classroom also involves your partnership with the community. Let me take it again. Beyond the classroom entails two things, which are number one, you as an educator, you as a 21st century teacher, bringing the world into your classroom. And secondly, you taking your classroom into the world, bearing in mind that your classroom is not only about you, but it's also about your learners. Now, your classroom is not only about the curriculum, but also about the needs, the interest, the background, the backgrounds of your learner. That the classroom is not only about you, your learner, their needs, their interests, their background and culture, but it's also about the community. What do we mean by the community? We're talking about other teachers within your discipline, other teachers outside your discipline, talking about policymakers that you can collaborate with, talking about parents, talking about the real community, the location where you are. The location can be mini, the location can be macro. For example, I live in Adamawa State. Now in Adamawa State, I, as a 21st century teacher, I'm expected to bring Adamawa State into my classroom and take Adamawa State out of my, and take my learners into Adamawa State. How? By collaborating, by collaborating with policymakers in Adamawa State, by collaborating with other teachers in my school, whether they are in the language department or they are in the science department. It is my responsibility as a 21st century teacher who is going above and beyond the classroom to partner with those teachers in the English department, in the French department, in Hausa department, and of course in the sciences and the vocational, so that my learners can be, their potential can be optimized, can be maximized to prepare them for the ever-changing world of work. And it doesn't stop there. There is need for me to partner, to collaborate with the management team so that I carry them along the process of what I am doing. And definitely parents are not left out. Because if I want to get the best from my students in this digital age where we need parents to monitor their children and to understand the objective that we have for incorporating digital literacy into our classrooms, there is need for us to carry our parents along through a meaningful collaboration that is consistent. It doesn't stop with parents. It doesn't stop with the learners. It doesn't stop with other teachers. Neither does it stop with the management team. We need to also go into the community, make our impact felt, bring other students into relation with our own learners so that their horizon can be broadened. They can have a more complex cultural immersion that will help their outlook, their social life, and their ability to make impact in their own communities. These are the facets, these are the ramifications of partnership that we're talking about, bringing the classroom into the world and bringing the world into the classroom. Now, how can this be done? We have been able to break it down to look at what beyond the classroom means, beyond your physical location, beyond your students, beyond the curriculum that has been predetermined, beyond the confines of your own knowledge, beyond your school vicinity, you going outside of these limits to make it a difference, to make an impact for the benefit of your learners so that they can have a broader horizon, a broader scope of knowledge, and become more functional in the community they are in. And this helps them become problem solvers. This helps them become critical thinkers. This helps them become sensitive. This helps them become humane because they are able to come to terms with the problems of society and they begin to think of how they can provide solutions to the unique problems of their immediate community and the local community and the global community at large. Now, what does beyond the classroom, what does it demand from me as a teacher? What does it demand from you as a teacher who is here today to rub minds with us on how to deal with the classroom, with the topic beyond the classroom? At this point, I'd like to take perspectives from the teachers who are here. Okay, you can type it in the chat box, express yourself, and let us see what you have gleaned so far from our discussions about beyond the classroom. Do not forget, beyond the classroom is about taking your students into the world and bringing the world into your classroom, bearing the fact in mind that it's not just about you, It's not just about your learners, but it goes beyond you, the curriculum, and it brings into recognition the needs, the interest, the culture, the background of your learners. It brings into cognition the needs of the community, their immediate, the micro and the macro community. It brings into cognizance the collaboration with parents, disciplinary collaborations, interdisciplinary collaboration, and leadership collaborations. Now, what does this entail for you? What does it entail for me? First of all, it means that as a 21st century teacher who is thinking beyond the classroom, who is reaching out beyond the classroom, who is preparing my learners beyond the four walls of the classroom, whereby the knowledge they gain is not only practicable within the four walls of the classroom or within the limited space of the paper and biro that is submit at the end of the term. It entails the one, we have to be lifelong learners. You cannot expect to build a nation when you have not even built yourself. It's an irony. It's funny. You haven't built yourself, built a capacity, and you expect to build a nation. What kind of one-sided how do I put it, growth would you want to give your learners? So at the end of the day, all your learners know is photosynthesis. All your learners know is the process of precipitation. All your learners know is habitat, but they've not visualized it. They've not learned from a different perspective. The only person they hear facts from or information from is you. They don't even listen to news that are related to issues that border on your topic or on your subject matter. They don't relate to other students to share ideas. They don't carry out experiments on their own, not being facilitated by you. You don't give them the room to explore. That means their growth will be one-sided. Their thinking will be narrow-minded. They will not be broad thinkers. They will not be able to think on the spot of the moment. They will not be creative, and they will not learn to respect other perspectives. And respecting other perspectives is what is needed in the global world today. Now, being a 21st century lifelong learner, it means you as a teacher, I as a teacher, we have to be researchers. For us to be able to bring in a methodology that is suitable, that is perfect for a particular learner, kinesthetic, visual, audio, or the visual, read and write learner, it is premised on the quality of the research we conduct as teachers ourselves. You've been a teacher for 10 years, for 15 years, and your lesson plan, your lesson notes remains the same, like Mungo Pack. There is no new idea. There is no idea that fits into the current reality. You are not conducting research. You don't write papers. A teacher who wants to impact beyond the classroom, who wants to prepare his or our learners beyond the classroom, beyond the report card, beyond the examination script, beyond A1s and B2s and B3s, has to be a researcher. You need to read wide. You need to have your own personal network of learners. What group do you belong? Do you associate with other teachers? Do you rub ideas? How often do you participate in sessions like this? Kudos to the Emerald Group. They have come together to come up with this kind of brilliant session where we will resensitize ourselves on the need for us to go above and beyond the comfort zone of our classrooms, of our local schools, of our local communities, to utilize the resources that are available to us in this century to do better, to impact more, and to build our learners holistically and not prepare them for a half-baked existence. Now, research. What do you research? We research by watching documentaries. We research by asking questions. We research by being part of a group like Emerald. We research also by being part of a network of teachers belonging to groups. We research by carrying out practical, practical couple studies These are the ways we can get our facts. And then when we have the facts at our fingertips, we are able to help our learners. We know the most recent methodology that could help a struggling learner and not have to use the same methodology. Somebody once said that it is the height of madness to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. If you really want to make impact beyond the classroom, if you really want to touch your learner and prepare your learner beyond that school of yours, beyond the curricular activities of your school, you want to prepare your learner for the global world and for the future, teacher, you have to embrace research. You have to be ready to learn, to unlearn, and to relearn. We cannot continue to isolate ourselves. We must embrace new knowledge every day, and we must be open to new perspectives as lifelong learners. Secondly, taking the class, going beyond the classroom, it also means that you and we have to be SDG informed about the Sustainable Development Goals. It goes beyond cramming the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. I thank God for the initiative of the Multina Teacher of the Year. The Multina Teacher of the Year, it helps teachers to rethink, their methodology in the classroom, to rethink the way they present information in the classroom. For instance, the UNESCO are looking for teachers, they're looking for ways, or they have introduced a way in which this old school approach, whereby regardless of your discipline, you are able to incorporate, topics in SDG, especially climate change, you bring it into your class. So at the end of the day, as a mathematics teacher, you will find a way, a creative way of incorporating elements of the SDG, bring it into your classroom. It makes your class a more practical class. It makes your students more of problem solvers. It makes them able to relate mensuration or trigonometry, or SOHCAHTOA to some of the problems that even statistics, mean, median, mode, and other statistical measures, they are able to apply it to the multifaceted human-centered problems facing the world. And so at the end of the day, your learners are not dealing with abstract numbers. They are not dealing with abstractions, but they are dealing with applied questions, things they see, things they hear in the news, they hear adults talk about. You bring it into their classroom and you give them room to apply the concepts that you have introduced to them. You allow them to apply it to the real world problems. At the end of the day, your learner is beginning to think in the direction of how can I bring a lasting solution to my environment? Oh, there are now over 20 million out of school children. Okay, in years so, this was the number of out of school children we had. It helps your learner to be able to concretize information in your mathematics class. This is what UNESCO is doing. And this is what Multina Teacher of the Year is also doing. You pick a topic and you see how you can bring SDG to bear in your classroom. Talk about creativity, talk about flexibility, talk about practicality, talk about problem solving. As a teacher, whether it's fine arts, whether it is music, you cannot play ignorant when it comes to the SDG. It is high time as a teacher who wants to go beyond the classroom and you want to bring the world into your classroom and take your classroom into the world, you have to be active as far as the SDG is concerned. And when we talk about SDG, it's high time we stopped talking about, facts, regurgitating the 17 SDG goals. What does it mean to your learner? How is it relevant to your area of expertise as a finance teacher, as an English teacher, as a Yoruba teacher? The Yoruba culture, the African culture, let's just bring it to the fore. The African culture is dying by the day. One of the things that can help us sustain, us achieve sustainable development goals is for us to bring back our culture into the classroom. So how knowledgeable are you when it comes to the SDG? How are you bringing your culture to global attention? How are you bringing global cultures into your classroom such that your learner travels to many countries just from the comfort zone of your classroom. Thank God for technology. We're going to talk about technology because you cannot go beyond your classroom without being a digital teacher. Why? You don't know it all. The next teacher doesn't know it all. And perspectives differ. The teacher in India has a different perspective to offer. And so how do I connect with the India teacher if I don't go digital? If I don't carry out research, if I'm not conversant with the SDG goals? So these are the things we want to bring. We want to go beyond the classroom. We want to go beyond the traditional method of teaching. We want to go beyond the normal instructional strategies or the normal evaluation strategies. I mean, we cannot but become lifelong learners and also be experts. Thank you. So now, being an SDG advocate also entails that you and I, we need to use extracurricular and extracurricular. I've talked about the curricula. You bring in the topics in SDG, bringing them into your classroom, finding a linkage between your topics and the SDG in such a way that it becomes real, it becomes practicable, it makes sense to your learners. Now, what about extracurricular activities? Clubs. I know that a lot of teachers have challenge when it comes to funding. Schools these days have a very, challenging time funding extracurricular activities. However, we could go creative about this. We need to go beyond writing notes, giving assignments, and let us become practical about the topics we teach. With just a little, we could make the difference. Extracurricular activities, taking our children on excursions, taking them out to meet with government representatives. Our children need to have a say in what is happening around them. Our leaders need to know that our children have a voice as well. And how do we create this opportunity? Is by organizing excursions to places where they can meet with their representatives. The chairman of their local government, let our students meet with them. Let our students meet with the governor. Let our students meet with the commissioners. Let them create their, the teachers should not even guide them. Oh, this is what we say. Let them read the newspaper. Let them listen to the news. Let them develop a sense of inquiry. Let them ask questions and let them have the avenue, the opportunity, the platform for them to meet policymakers. This is what it means to go beyond the classroom. This is what it means to bring the world into the classroom and give your learners the opportunity to affect the community so that they go beyond just writing and submitting notebooks or writing examinations at the end of the day that really do not affect, their ability to impact the world. So now we move to the next point. That what does it mean? We talked about being digital. As a digital teacher, I don't know it all. I've not arrived when it comes to digitization of knowledge. I'm still learning and I still want to learn more. Why do I want to learn more? I want to learn more for the benefit of my learners. You want to go beyond the classroom. In 2020, a very ugly incident, brought us to our toes. The COVID-19 experience, where schools were on lockdown, education was on lockdown. The poor couldn't access education. With the technological revolution, you never can tell. There could be another pandemic. In the event of another pandemic, how prepared are you, teacher? How prepared am I? How have we prepared our learners? If there is no forward, the traditional brick and wall of a classroom, in the event of another pandemic, would we be beat our chest, be confident enough to say that, we will not be limited only to WhatsApp? There are so many applications, that Google, Microsoft, even methodologies, instructional strategies that have been introduced through Microsoft Educator. These are the things we need to access. We cannot equip our learner if we ourselves are not equipped. We cannot develop informed learners if we ourselves are deformed in the area of up-to-date current knowledge. We cannot continue to regurgitate back ideas. There is need for us to keep learning. There is need for us to continue to be role models. It is an insult, it's an anomaly for us learners to be more advanced when it comes to technological application than we. We could say that, oh, you know, today's children, you know, they are so smart. And then you are. Of course, you should be smarter as a teacher. That's why you're a teacher. That's why you're an educator. That's why you're a facilitator. You facilitate learning. And facilitating learning is premised upon the fact that you are already equipped. So this is a challenge to all of us, that there is need for us to go outside our comfort zone. Yes, I know that there is paucity of funds. Teachers are underpaid. You need a lot of money. I wish that the benefits lecturers were enjoying before the strike, talking about TET fund. I wish they could extend it to secondary school teachers, you know, giving us 20 million and all that to travel abroad, you know, to be up to get up to date knowledge and all that. I mean, we could have been the better for it. However, with the little that we have, and with a lot of free resources online, we could do ourselves a world of good. And there are educators out there who already have this knowledge, who are equipped, especially those in the ICT. We could collaborate with them. They could teach us, they could equip us. It is all for the benefit of the learner, so that they can be useful to themselves in the coming, changing world of work. Now, being community or impact driven, this is a big one for me. It is a really, really big one for me. We cannot continue to stay within the confines of our schools or our classroom or our localities. There are so many children out there who need the stuff that you have, teacher. There are so many children out there who wish they would have a teacher like you. Give them the benefit, let them enjoy you. Leave your city, leave your town, go to that village. Leave your school, go to that public school. You have stuff lying latent within you. Your learners who have the wherewithal to fund your salary, you know, they shouldn't be the only one to enjoy the talent, the creativity, the information that you have. Give of yourself. Go beyond the limited confines of your classroom. Go to that primary school. Go to that kindergarten. Go to that orphanage. Go to that village, and you'll be amazed, you know, at the impact you will make. Give of yourself. Let those children out there, the underserved, the underprivileged, let them have the benefit of interacting with somebody like you. They will never forget it. They will remember it. And guess what? It will spur their imagination. It will inspire their dreams. It will give them a reason to live. Talking about going beyond the classroom in a world, in a Nigerian community where we have over 20 million out of school children, you could make a difference. I could make a difference. And so, going beyond the classroom, it means that you and I need to be equipped to the right knowledge, equipped to the right tools. We need to leave our comfort zones. We need to challenge ourselves to prepare our learners for a challenging and highly competitive future. We need to stay abreast current trends in our subject matter and not regurgitate facts and keep, renewing our lesson notes and lesson plan year in, year out without any current knowledge to impact the children. We need to create room for creativity. Let the children create new knowledge for themselves. Just be a facilitator. Introduce visuals into your classroom. Bring the projector. Bring movies. Bring documentaries. Is there a rule that says that they must learn ecosystem from your mouth or from the board, from the chalkboard or marker board? No. Bring the documentary into your classroom. There was a time I was watching the TV. That was, I think, 3 weeks ago or so. I was in a friend's house. And, you know, there was normal documentaries talking about Nat Geo. I love watching them, but this particular one, oh boy, I got hooked on it. They presented the documentary in a play and learn way, fun way. The characters, in fact, they did it in a literary form. It talks about a group of monkeys, how monkeys live in the jungle, their survival instincts, how they're able to survive, and even the hierarchy system in the world of monkeys. They even have the upper class monkeys, the lower class monkeys, and the middle class monkeys. So funny. And you know, they even give them names just for the person viewing the documentary to be able to understand what they are saying. It was so student friendly that any learner will get hooked on it. What am I trying to say? And I remark to my friend, I said, look, I would have loved to know where to get this particular documentary. It's so fun because from that documentary, my learners will learn new words. They will learn more about the society. They will even learn character building. They will learn skills of negotiation, skills of survival, problem solving. I mean, it was a whole package. These are the kind of things we can bring into our classroom. These are the kind of things we can take our children out of their comfort zone to go and learn out there in a village, for example. So now as a teacher, you going beyond the classroom, you need to be informed. Informed not only about English language, nouns, past of speech, and all that. I need to be informed about what is going on in my environment as well. Politically, economically, culturally, I need to be broad. Yes. And then I need to be able to challenge pre-existing way of thinking. I need to be open-minded. I need to be able to embrace novel thinking, novel ideas from other cultures, from other people. So that because my class, as a 21st century teacher, I recognize that my class is made up of a multi-diverse culture. Why? Because I am not only linking up to my traditional learners, but I'm also linking up to the global world of learners who will listen to me on YouTube, on Instagram, and all that. And this is the reason why I need to be informed. You need to be informed. You need to be equipped. I need to be equipped. Not only that, like I said earlier, the teacher is a collaborator. No teacher worth his name. No teacher in the 21st century can afford to sit alone and do everything by him or herself. One day you could call in the Arabic teacher. Thank God in a subject like English language, there is something called registers. You could call in another teacher who is better at phonetics to teach rather than you doing it. And besides, it's variety that says the spice of life. You could invite a teacher from Lugere Primary School or American University Academy to your school. To interact with your learners. Your learners will catch fun. They will learn. They will be able to interact. Bring in other students. Let them come into your classroom to interact with your learners. It broadens the horizon. It broadens the mind. Bring in role models into your classroom. Take your students out to meet these role models. Let them learn. Let them interact. The essence is for them to develop a critical mindset. Problem-solving psyche, These are the things. Leadership skills, communication skills. I remember very recently, some children in the village that we went to impact during the holidays. They have never, most of them, 98% of them have never left the shores of their village. And so we decided, okay, fine. I've been impacted there. We've taught them literacy and all that. Let us take them to a place of interest. We want them to realize one thing, that look, there is life beyond the village. There are possibilities for you. You can be whatever you want to be, especially for the female child. By the time they interacted with the people, with the workers, where we took them to on excursion, they were like, oh my God, you mean as a woman, as a girl, I can also do this? They were shocked to their marrows that, to see a lady doing the work of a man, a camera woman, a photographer, a woman. This is what we mean by taking the class, going beyond the classroom. They are not my traditional learners. They are not my traditional students. But I have gone beyond the confines of my workplace, beyond the confines of my city. I have gone to the other, to them, to their village, to give of myself, to give of ourselves to them. That is going beyond the classroom, giving of yourself, and then also benefiting your learners by bringing other people to meet with them, bringing books, bringing experiences, bringing questions. Questions, real life stories, bringing it into the classroom for the benefit, for the growth, for the holistic development of your learners. Now, the teacher has a change agent. We should never forget that we are role models. Role modeling will never stop, especially for the teacher. We model behavior. What kind of behavior do you want to see in your learner? You want your learner to be a critical thinker? You have to be one. You want your learner to be a brilliant communicator who knows what to say, how to say it, when to say it, to whom to say it to. You have to model the art of correct, effective communication. You want your learner to be able to use digital tools actually, then you cannot play mom about the use of digital skills. You want your learner to be to embrace other people, to be tolerant, to exercise space skills, conflict resolution skills, and you don't model it in the classroom, in how you handle the disruptive learner, in how you keep pace with a slow learner. And I mean, you need to model this behavior. You need to model it for your learner to learn, because you never can tell the extent to the ripples of our influence on those children. And so we should never forget that we are change agents in the way we dress, in the way we talk, in our mannerisms, in our choices, in our decisions. A teacher does not live for himself. A teacher lives for the community. We should never forget that. Now, the teacher as a catalyst of positive revolution. The teacher as a catalyst. We want our learners to be sensitive to human needs. How have we modeled that? When we are going to those schools, those communities, do we take our learners along with us for peer learning? For instance, there are times one of my learners went with me to the village. He was my student, and I felt, look, since you don't have me, you're out of secondary school, you could do this with your time. I mean, going to the village to see other children who have no access to the things it takes for granted will change his psyche. I won't be surprised if in future he decides to lend a hand, lend a voice, be the voice to the voiceless, and be the hand to those who don't have hands. Yes, to the less privileged. This is how to be a catalyst of positive change. We're talking about climate change here. How are you being an instrument, of sensitization, of orientation, and of action in your community? We talk about practicing healthy environmental behavior. How do you model it? How do you start the movement? In your little classroom, in your little school, to your town, to other places. The teacher in the 21st century does not have just a single role of going to class to teach and mark. No, we are change agents. We are impact driven. We are people, professionals who go beyond the payroll, who go beyond the definition of our responsibilities in the school. We give of ourselves. We are full-time humanitarians. We go beyond, above and beyond the demands of our job to make sure we impact those who really need the investment that we put within ourselves for the sake of generations. Now, the teacher as a transformational vanguard. Beyond the classroom, you are a vanguard of transformation. Yes, when we talk about falling standards in education, it means we have to question ourselves. We need to question ourselves as teachers. We must protect the little sanity that is left in the educational fabric of our Nigerian system. We need to go all out to talk. We need to talk. Our voices need to be heard. We need to say no to examination malpractice. We need to stop being instruments of examination malpractices in our schools. We need to supervise and supervise well. As beyond the classroom, you are not just teaching, but you supervise, you monitor, you facilitate, you protect, you model, you teach. Examination malpractice is appalling. It's at an appalling high rate in Nigeria. And as transformational vanguards, we cannot pretend it is not happening. We must speak. We must be the voice. We must be the voice of change, of transformation. They say that for the SDG goals, that the most effective people to use as channels of change are the teachers, because we are close to the grassroots. We are close to the children. The children are the future, and we are the only ones, the primary agents that can be trusted to help the children envision a better future for the world. We need to take our position. We need to take our place as change agents, as vanguards of transformation in our world, as teachers, as role models, as mentors, as catalysts of change. Nigeria can be better if we take our place. It's high time we stop looking down on ourselves. No matter how meager the salary, we can still do something. We can still make a change. They say little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. That is why we need to collaborate. We need to stop being competitive. We need to start collaborating, helping one another, promoting one another, creating networks. By the time we create a strong network and we put up a front against certain leakages in the educational fabric of our nation, we will see change. We will see change, but the change begins with a teacher. Now, the reflective teacher. It is not enough to attend a session like this. Would we go back and rethink instruction, our knowledge base, our competence, our proficiency, our level? Can we be honest with one another? Can we be honest and begin to take decisive steps towards action, towards making positive change in ourselves first, in our environment, in our classroom, in our learners? Every child is your child. That is my philosophy. That is what I live by. I believe my philosophy as a teacher is that every child is my child. I have a responsibility to every child. If I need to invest so much, go all out for my own biological child, that other child, I owe it to that child to also go all out for that child. That is the calling of the teacher. The teacher is not just a doctor, a nurse. I was saying to someone, they came to my office, to the office rather, to discuss me, to see or to discuss a few things. And then in the course of our discussion, because the lady is a nurse, I'm like, oh, nurses, you guys are doing a noble job, taking care of the sick and all that, but your job cannot be as noble as that of a teacher. And the other person was like, no, they are both humanitarian. I said, look, you cannot compare, you cannot place the teaching profession of the teacher on the same level as a doctor or a nurse. You know why? Because the nurse still gets value, good value for his or her job, money in monetary terms, but the teacher is sacrificing. There is no amount of money you can pay a teacher, especially in Nigeria. It is never ever commensurate to the efforts of the teacher. But the teacher is always at his or her duty post, teaching, mentoring, role modeling, planning, thinking, even praying for that child. So as a teacher, we need to be reflective about our practices. We need to take decisive steps. We need to make actionable decisions about how we position ourselves for this noble profession. Finally, I would like to say that as a teacher who is going above and beyond the confines of your classroom, as a teacher who is bringing the world into your classroom and the classroom into the world, as a teacher who is collaborating effectively on every front, from the local, to the local, to the global, you are collaborating effectively and strategically towards achieving objectives that will impact on your students, both within your classroom and outside your classroom. Please, you have to be impact-driven. When you go to the class for those 35 minutes, ask yourself, what impact have I made? Never leave a class without making an impact. Never leave a class without putting a smile on the face of a learner. Never leave a class without teaching that subject in such a way that everyone is carried along. Beyond the classroom or the final note, simply means as I summarize, it's about you and I looking beyond that single learner to seeing the over 22 million out of school children and thinking, how can I make a difference? How can I connect with a network of teachers to make sure that we make the needed difference? SDG is there. 2030 is just around the corner. How far have we gone? How much have we achieved? Examination malpractice is increasing on a daily basis. It has actually become, a way of life. What are we doing to restore sanity into our educational system? These are many more. Are the ways we can become educationists, educators who go beyond the classroom. Remember, to go beyond this classroom, you have to be a lifelong learner. You have to be a reflective teacher. You have to be a collaborator. You have to be a researcher. You have to network with other educators. You have to be a partner. You have to work with parents. You have to work with the community. You have to have impact as your goal. Wherever you go, impact should be the goal. Remember, beyond the classroom. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ma, Bunmi, and Nani. This was really, really amazing. This was really amazing. I loved every bit of the presentation, and I'm sure that everyone else here did. I was trying to get feedback. Okay, let's take some feedback. Okay, let's take from feedback. So if you want to say something, you can raise your hands and I'll bring you up stage to share. If you want to say anything, just signal and I'll bring you up stage. I can see those who are signaling. Okay, yes. We have Okikiola and Muizat Ibrahim. So I'll take one by one. We have two people now. Any other person? I think we could have three. Okay, you want to ask questions? Good. We have, oh, good, beautiful, interesting. So we have quite a lot of feedback, and let me keep what I wanted to say so that we'll take the feedback first. So I'm going to take them one after the other. Okikiola, Muizat Ibrahim, Adebi Adekunle, and Awofeso Adetomiwa, Olorunda Babajide, Tayo Funto, Umukoro Roslyn. Okay, so let's take the first one. I'll ask you to unmute. You can come out and talk about how the session has been for you, what you gained, the value you gained from the session, and then if you have any question at all, you can throw it, and I'm sure Maabumi and Anani will definitely handle the question. Okay, so come up stage, Okikiola.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's nice to be here. Actually, I want to commend Mrs. Oni for our lecture. In fact, it has been so thrilling and appealing. I must confess, I've learned a whole lot of things. However, while the lecture was ongoing, I have a lot that I want to talk about, and I need to ask questions about them too. So I don't know if I may go on with my questions and my own point of view. Yeah, you have said everything, Mrs. Oni. You have actually said everything, because while imparting in our learners, we are hypothetically developing ourselves as a modern day teacher, which I believe is a necessity. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is this thing is easier said than done. But the truth is it achievable and is it applicable? One, let's take a look at the number of periods we take per week. Now, let's take a look at the number of classes we are handling. Now, how effective do you think the use of technology, modern technology, how effective do you think it will be? That's one. The second one is, even among ourselves as teachers, do we even have the support? That's the major question, because in a system where you find yourself among your co-teachers and they are trying to let you understand that, see, come, we are your senior. We know this thing than you do. In fact, they are not even giving you room to showcase your dexterity. That's two. So how can we even eradicate this level of seniority in the system? Because it's affecting a whole lot of things in teaching in this century. Then the third one is, how do we do a follow-up with our learners? And when I mean follow-up, I'm not saying I am new to doing follow-up with learners. But now, our female students, our female learners, I've come to realize the more you're trying to give them attention, the more you're trying to be helpful to them, there is this kind of mindset that they have created that maybe there is more to the love you are showing them. So all these three questions that I've itemized, I want you to please help me address them. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you so very much. These are very brilliant questions which we add to our knowledge base this evening. I would like to start with this question you asked. How do we do follow-up? You gave an instance with female learners. By the time you show them too much love and all that, they begin to feel somehow, perhaps they begin to read meaning to it. And their parents might as well be reticent or disapprove of the attention that you are giving to their female children. Actually, with this rising case of harassment, sexual harassment from male teachers and all that, Then, in fact, to make it worse, even the school management might even raise eyebrow, on your unnecessary. They might say it as unnecessary. The attention you're giving to the female student. Now, it's simple. You don't have to be the one to attend or follow up that student. There are referrals. You could make referrals. There should be a trusted female teacher in that school that you could link that learner with. Wisdom is profitable to direct. When people raise eyebrows about the unseeming closeness or attention that you're giving to a female learner, albeit well-intentioned, for the sake of, for your own sake, and for the sake of other people, cultures differ, mentalities differ, what people have seen, what they have heard, what they have experienced. Their color, their perspectives. You cannot continue to act based on your own innocent inclination. You have to factor into consideration the opinion, the experiences of others, especially when it comes to the current, happenings in our societies. You hear of teachers even having sexual affair with their learners. Initially people would think, it's just been nice, but really something else is going on. So you wouldn't really blame people. So what do you do in that situation? Make a referral. There definitely must be a female teacher or a female counselor that can be trusted. You cannot be the only one that can actually win the confidence of your learner. Out of the stream of teachers that are teaching that learner, there must be a female teacher amongst those teachers that student likes or that student believes in. So why don't you collaborate with that female teacher? Give the female teacher a background to that learner and the reason why you want her to take up that learner. Follow up on our academic progress, follow up even on our spiritual or moral progress. By doing that, you have applied wisdom. By doing that, you have lessened your job. And by doing that, you monitor her from afar while you have brought in a middle person to do the work for you. Now, to the next question, you say that considering the number of periods, certain private schools, even some secondary, some public schools. I remember when I was a core member in Yola, Adamawa State, when I was when I was posted to the government girls secondary school. We had only 3 English teachers at first. So by the end of 1 month, one of the teachers had to leave because she got a better offer somewhere. So we were left with, in the old school, in the entire secondary section, we were left with only 2 of us, myself and my head of department. So we were to handle SS1, SS2, SS3, and each class had streams, and the streams were up to J, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, and all that. There were many. So how do we handle the number of periods, the number of students, and all that, and yet still attend to them and still use digital tools and all that? Okay, fine, this is it. When it comes to the number of hours or periods you have as a teacher, it still does not stop you from investing in yourself. That is why I made mention of intentionality. We have to be intentional as teachers. There is no profession that does not have its hazards. Every profession has its hazards, has its risks, has its inconveniences, but it takes a very intentional professional to go above and beyond the inconveniences to enrich himself, to invest in himself, and to make a difference. If I have, for instance, in my present school, I take JSS 1, JSS 2, JSS 3 English language, and I have 5 periods per stream, per class. Does that stop me from investing in myself? It means I will have to sleep less. It means I will have to gist less and gossip less. I'm a female. Once in a while, you have to gossip. That makes us woman. Not human, woman. But it will help me manage my time well because I know I have a goal. I have an objective. I am impact driven. I know my philosophy, and I don't want to fail myself. I don't want to fail the next generation. So intentionality comes to bear here. Then in a large classroom, the best thing you can do in a large classroom is to use digital. How do you use digital tools in a large classroom? You use your projector. Mind you, you can invest in yourself. You can have your own projector without you having to wait for the school. You see, when I talk about intentionality, it is deep. Intentionality in the use of your own personal money. Teacher, if you really, really want to make impact, be ready to make personal sacrifices. You may not even maybe in 6 months, you may not even buy a cloth for yourself. Why? Because you want to get tools that will help you impact your students more and make the difference. You can go that far, depriving yourself of certain things that other people, get, just because you want to satisfy your professional longing and your impact-driven psyche to make sure you make a difference. You just have to be intentional. You just have to make the sacrifice. You just have to make the investment, and you have to cut down on certain things. Then your next question, you said there are some colleagues, senior colleagues who will sniff at you and make you feel as if you are a junior, you are a junior teacher to them. Now, this session, there is need for us to have more sensitization. Sometimes the sensitization sessions may not include all teachers. We may decide to have, a seminar for high-level professional teachers, for management-level professional teachers. Why? Because we want to change their mentality. There was a TED talk I was listening to yesterday, which was really impactful. It talks about, your currency as a sponsor and your currency as a professional, that in your workplace you hope for a promotion, that it is not always based on your output at your place of work. Your output, your impact may not necessarily get you the promotion. But what gets you the promotion sometimes is your relationship with somebody who has a seat in the board, and then the speaker now said something that for you who have the privilege of being a sponsor, who has the privilege of having a seat on the board, use your currency, use your power, use your strength to help that person get that promotion. Speak on behalf of that person. What am I trying to say? Those senior colleagues, we could have a meeting, a session with them. We could organize seminars for just those level of teachers and change their mentality, change their psyche, and make them understand that, look, if you feel you are on the top management cadre as a teacher, you owe it to the next generation of teachers to build them up, to help them. It's not about a mentality shift. We need to have more of these sessions for different categories of teachers on different cadre of the teaching profession towards an objective. And the goal should be to have a mentality shift so that we can all operate as real professionals. Why is it that people look down teaching as a profession? One of the reasons is because we are not united. Like you just mentioned, so the senior colleagues sniff at those who are just coming into the profession. How do you expect growth? How do you expect professionalism? How do you expect outsiders to respect a profession where there is the vision? So there is need for us to organize more seminars for different categories of teachers within the professional cadre. Then finally, you said something about I think seniors follow up, many period for large classes. Can you remind me of, because I think you mentioned you asked 5 questions. I was taking down notes. Okay.
Yes,
well, anyway,
yes.
Yes, can you remind me if there is any question I've not been able to answer effectively?
Well, you've actually answered all my questions effectively, but the parts where I just want you to reiterate better on is the aspect of the large class. Actually, I know in a large class, the best mode of teaching them is when you group them, when you have group pairing, that would facilitate learning. I actually understand that. But at least I believe you would agree with me that you still need the support of the stakeholders to do this.
Of
so
course.
So let me not
Yes.
time.
Okay, let me add to that. You see, we need to keep talking to one another, talking to those to the policymakers, talking to those who hold the yam and the knife. We need to keep talking and influencing a change in action. Then talking about the large class, have you ever thought of using peer learning method? I use it. What do I mean by peer learning method? In your classroom, no matter how large, there will be 2, 3, 5 students who have been able to master the concept you are teaching. So why don't you pair? I say, okay, Amina, you are going to teach Ahmed, Nafisat, catering. You are going to teach them this topic until they understand it. You are going to group them like that. And by the end of that, you could even go up to the teachers who you know are good and will cooperate with you while you supervise. I do that because there are times you as a teacher may not be able to come down to the level of that learner who is finding it difficult to grasp a concept. Let me give you an example. Once upon a time, in my current place of employ, I was trying to teach my literature students a particular concept. I tried very hard. I tried this method, tried that method. Oh my God, it wasn't working. So I decided, okay, my students in SS3, Amina, okay, fine. I'm going to invite you into my classroom. You are going to teach these children. And guess what? When Amina came, they understood Amina. In fact, I watched her. She was able to break it down in the language they understand, using Fulfude, using Hausa, using a lot of diverse methods. There were methods even I used, but what I noticed was that the children felt more comfortable, very comfortable with her. So if I had decided that, oh, I am the teacher, they must understand me. No, so if you are teaching a large class, there is no way you cannot find at least 5 students who have understood what you are teaching. It's not possible. Use them, bring them in. It will even help you. There is no, by the time you bring them in, it will lessen your work. Your learners will understand better. You will achieve your goal, and everybody is carried along. So I believe for the large classroom size, all you need to do, what I suggest you do, is make use of your learners. And if you have core members as well, the core members can serve as support teachers to you. But again, the issue of difficult management may come in. Wisdom is profitable to direct. I know that by the time you exhaust all the options, there is no way. And your manner of approach also matters when it comes to management team. Try to document, write letters, meet with them, gather support. When you have a source, when you are able to gather a strong support system amongst the management, your ideas will fly. So we teachers, we really need to be strategic about our methods. We don't have to go by the books. Sometimes we need to sit down and create a method that will work for us. And above all, use strategic politeness, strategic tactfulness to pass across our message and to garner the support of those who make the decisions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the question, Okikiola. Thank you very much for your questions, and thank you, Bumi and Nani, for answering them. Okay, so I think I'll take 2 more. Then we'll move to the next because we're running out of time. We have barely 15 minutes more to go, so I think I'll take 2 more. Muizat, you can go. I'll unmute Muizat, and you can ask your question. So, yeah.
All right. Good evening, everyone on the chat.
Evening.
Thank you very much to the resource person. You've done justice to the topic, and I must say I'm fired up, if I must use that word. 2 words stand out for me from your presentation, Ma. Collaboration and intentionality. Those 2 words, if we look deep into the profession, are really, they are germane, but somehow lacking, or should I say they are inadequate.
Can
Collaboration.
You hold on,
all right.
Okay, can you turn on your camera? Can you turn on your video while asking if that's okay with you?
Okay. A place, I was in a dark place before.
Okay.
I needed to put this to bed.
Oh. Well, if that's not going to be a problem, you can turn on your video. Or if you can't, then you can go ahead.
Okay, that works out well. That is telling me that the host disabled me.
Oh, let me ask you to turn on video. Yeah, you can turn on video now. Good. Thank you.
All right. So, as I was saying, collaboration and intentionality stood out for me in your presentation, Ma. And I must say, Okay, personally, I teach in the classroom. I also teach online. So it's been an amazing. When I saw that topic going beyond the classroom, I was that was what that was what attracted me to the conference. Okay, I want to learn more regarding going beyond the class. So from your presentation, I got to know that, okay, it's not just maybe teaching outside the classroom with technology, because that was the angle I was looking at it, like using technology to go beyond the classroom. So I was able to grab the fact that you could use different means. So not just teach those within your classroom, but also reaching out to others that may not be as privileged as those that are within your classroom, especially for those teaching in the private school. For me, I teach in the private school, so I know most of the children are privileged, but there are children that are really, really deprived of the knowledge, and I'm looking at that collaboration. I wish that collaboration could start from here, right at the conference, that the teachers should start collaborating with themselves and then reaching out to these out of school children. The number is alarming, really, really alarming. So that is just my contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that contribution, for the suggestion. Okay. Mr. Adekunle, you have the floor, you have the stage, so you can please make it brief. And when you come on to talk, please turn on your camera. I would like to see your face. You can turn on the camera, a brief introduction of yourself if you want to, 30 seconds introduction or 20 seconds introduction of yourself, then straight to the point. So let's go to Mr. Adebi. So I'm going to ask you to turn on the video and I'm going to ask you.
Hello, good evening. My name is Adebi Adekunle. A teacher, a fellow at Teach for Nigeria, and 2022 cohort. I have this few questions, though some of my question has been addressed, but however, I still need to put some question through. Teaching in the 21st century involves intensive use of student-centered approach to teaching and learning process. However, the readiness of these learners also play a significant role to their learning capability. Even if you think of motivation, you may run out of approach. How can we make these learners ready for learning? Then question 2, time frame is another challenge. This factor may hinder methodology of teaching. We're talking about teaching with peer grouping. The sitting arrangement is abnormal. When I say abnormal, it is the normal, traditional, or conventional sitting approach where the chairs cannot be moved. And if you want to do row by row pairing, you will realize that the class will be in disorder because some of these learners are not even ready to stay. They have this back door that they can run out. So you just have to keep an eye on them, only you on over 80 or 100 students. Then the third question, which is really important, is I'll try to teach my content using real life experiences as far as much as possible. Then I realized that 60% of my students are doing very well because we conducted a test today and I'm seeing wonderful and amazing outcome. Though I want 100% of my learners, how can I get their attention? Because some of these learners, they do not even come from week 1 to 4. I'm just seeing them today for the very first time because of the test. So learners, because I need them to be part of my plan. Those are my questions.
All right, Mr. Adebi Adekunle, thank you for those questions. Okay, are you done?
Yeah, I'm done, man.
Okay, thank you so very much. You said, how can we make learners ready for learning? How can we motivate them? First of all, you need to be interesting to get your learners to be interested. You need to be interesting to get your learners interested. I'll give an example. You see, once upon a time, as a child, I had an experience whereby our teacher, our head teacher, she was a nun, Sister Monica Marie. She came into the classroom to announce to us that we have 2 new teachers and she'll be transferring our teacher back then to the sister school. You know, that is outside of our own school, the sister school and all that. So some gentlemen were placed before us and we were asked to make a choice. That, okay, which of those teachers would you want? One of them, he was dressed, you know, this village teacher style. Then the other one was dressed, he was funky. You know, his hair was clean, shiny. He was looking so handsome and all that. And guess what? Naturally, we went for the handsome looking teacher who was looking neat, well-bred and all that. But the other one who was looking like a village headmaster, we didn't want him. Now, he made himself attractive. And so we warmed up to him. However, in the long run, the looks, you know, the looks never appealed to us anymore. We didn't want him to be our teacher anymore. Why? Because of his method of teaching. He was harsh. He didn't keep us interested. He looked interesting, but he couldn't keep our attention. Before we knew it, we wanted the other teacher that we despised. We now looked beyond this presentation, and then we discovered that he had innate qualities. He was more friendly, but not familiar with us. He was friendly, but not familiar. They are 2 different things. He was fatherly in his approach. He was understanding. He was sensitive. And he was able to reach each and every one of us individually. Now, what am I trying to say? You need to be interesting to get your learners interested. You need to, you also need to personify your subject matter. When they see you, do they see mathematics? Do they see English language? Do they see the passion? Then how, having won their interest, how do you motivate them to learn? This is where the task comes in. You need to diversify your methodology. You cannot reach a visual learner with the same method with which you reach a kinesthetic learner. The kinesthetic learner is not a read and write person. For example, as a mathematics teacher, you have taught algebra. Is there a way you could bring in letters into the classroom that will appeal to the kinesthetic, to the visual learner? Is there a way you can even ask the kinesthetic learner to create those figures, those letters, the coefficient of X and all that? Is there a way you can, that is participatory learning. A teacher must be creative. All the time before you go into the classroom, you ask yourself, okay, this category of learners, they are restive, they are disruptive, they cannot sit in class for more than 5 minutes. What can I do to keep their attention, to keep them motivated? The task of a teacher, it is not one size fits all. You need to be creative because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that every student in your class is impacted, is reached. So you come up with different methods. Let me use an example. I am an English teacher, but I know that despite the difference in our subject areas, our methods can be, we can use the same methods. Let me bring spelling, for example. In the course of teaching spelling, I discovered that some of my learners were struggling. Then I realized that, okay, fine, number one, some of them, they were good at dictation. When I dictate words to them, some of them will score 12 over 12, 15 over 15, where some were struggling. Then by the time I use oral, that is spelling, those who were scoring 15 over 15, I realized they were struggling. They were scoring, remember, they will get only 5 words correctly. Then I now discovered that, okay, fine, let me use this method. There are some who can do the spelling very well. There are some, the same words, they will dictate them well, but they cannot do oral. So I decided to introduce a new method. And what method? Scrabble method, this card, what method? Then I told them, okay, fine. Some of you like creating things. You are going to help us create letters. You know, day students, you create letters, but others, you use some part of your time during prep to create letters. And they were excited because they were involved. Then at the end of the day, I diversify the exercise on spelling. You know, some groups that I know that they cannot stay in class for more than 5 minutes. In spelling class, for example, I gave them those cards. And then I will now call out the word. Now, for this group, your own is card. For this group, your own is spelling. For this group, your own is dictation. And everybody flowed. They were motivated. There are times I will use storytelling method. There are times I will use role play method. The idea is I want to carry everybody along so that they will not be bored. Because believe you me, English language can be very boring. English language as a subject is so abstract. It can be so boring. If you're not careful, your students, they will lose steam. You will lose them along the line. So what does it mean for you as a teacher? It means that you have to be very, very creative and bring your learners on board. Now, the next question, how do you use the peer learning, especially when time is limited? Time is limited. How do you bring different methods to bear in the classroom? This is where I bring in spaced learning. What is spaced learning? Spaced learning means you don't have to, the quality of teaching is not dependent on the number of topics you cover in a term. I work in a private school. It has not been easy for me to persuade management, to let them understand my point of reasoning that, look, it is not the number of topics I cover in a term. That is not what makes me an effective or a qualitative teacher. I can cover only 3 topics in a term, but the children end up grasping it and they will learn it. They will never forget it, even when they get to SS3. That is what I call effectiveness. Mathematics becomes advanced when they get to SS class, but from primary 1, basic 1 to GSS3, it is still elementary. Why don't we build a firm foundation for them? You space your learning. By the time you go to class and you teach only one concept for 35 minutes, the aim is for them to grasp it. By the time they understand the basics, it will be easy for you to build on it by the time they get to SS1, SS2, SS3. So what am I trying to say? You could adopt spaced learning. Take it pace your concepts. The point is that make sure that all your students learn it. It is not easy. All of this that I'm saying, it may look like, is it possible? It is very possible. It is doable. You will face a lot of criticisms. You will face a lot of, how do I put it? A lot of criticisms, a lot of friction, especially with top management who may not understand where you're coming from or your goals. But you need to develop a tough skin. You see the vision, you see the end in mind, and you stay consistent to your methods. So that is how one of the ways you can beat the issue of time constraints in your classroom. Then what about the issue of student-centered readiness? There was a question you asked, and I wrote something. Appeal to the temperament of your learners. Appeal to their temperament. These learners who are sanguine, they have their own method of learning. Learners who are choleric, they have their own methods of learning. Learners who are phlegmatic, you have to push them. Those ones, you need to make the class very interesting. You need to be their friend. I'm not saying be familiar, but draw them close. Make them feel important. Unless you make your learner feel valued, they will not want to learn. They will run away from you. They will run away from your subject. Every learner in your class must feel important because they are important. If they don't have a sense of importance, they will not learn anything from you. They will see your subject as a child. They will see you as a ball. So as much as possible as a teacher, if you want your learner to be motivated, not just interested, at some point, at the beginning, they'll be interested, but how do you keep them interested? They must stay motivated. And for them to stay motivated to come to your class every day, teacher, you must be creative, you must be flexible, you must be friendly, but don't be familiar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think we've actually exhausted the time that we have. So I'm going to try and do something now, so that we can move on. Probably, I don't know if she is going to be with us after that time, so that those who still have questions and contributions or whatever can do that. I can see our officer, Crownton e-learning, Nkai Ali, and Olorunda Babajide. But yes, we have a presentation waiting, after which I would talk about our partners. But okay, let me take this next two. I hope Mabumi, are you still ready?
I'm here. Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, beautiful. So let's take the next two. Our officer Adetomiwa, and Crownton e-learning. So please, what we want to do is, you can ask the questions at the same time. Ask yours and then Crownton,
will also ask. Remember to turn on your camera, but make it very snappy, make it very brief. Whatever it is, just please make it very brief. We're already running out of time because we have a presentation and the presenter is already waiting for us. So yes, it's going to be a short presentation. The other speaker for tonight is not available, unavoidably unavailable. Okay, so we're going to, and I'm glad because it gave us a lot of time to also go through its how do I put it? It's a disadvantage that turned into an advantage. Okay, because we've actually been able to gain a lot from Mabuni and Nani. So good. Let's go to the next person. That's Awofiso Adetomiwa. So you have the floor.
All right, thank you. Good evening, ma. Good evening, ma. Sorry, there is no PhD, there's no light here, so you might not really see my video. Sorry. But then,
No
good evening. Like you said, my name is Adetomiwa. I'm a C for Nigeria Fellow 2022. I think this is my second time of listening to a lecture from or a presentation from Ms. Anani. This is my second time, and I can say that I've really learned a lot. But then I have two questions, just like two questions. Thank you for the presentation, ma'am. But then I was just looking at it as a teacher leader, as an educator. How do you manage your own emotions in class? You know, we are human beings as well. We have things running through our minds. We have issues around. How do you manage it? And then I want to ask this question. I realized that most of our learners, we have fixed timetable almost in all the schools. Like for my school now, where I'm posted to in Lagos, we have about 6 periods in a day per day. But then I realized that the strength of my learners, though they are still in primary level, they cannot take more than 4 subjects in a day. If I really want to be impactful and then make them to participate very well in the class and not just have a dormant period, because we're not taught that at Teach for Nigeria. So I realized that that's the number of subjects I can take. So how do we go about this in most of our schools, where they have to say you have to take about 7 subjects in a day, 6 subjects in a day, 8, and it's compulsory. And at the end of the day, you find that most of the learners, they were only able to grasp 2 subjects out of them. How do we go about managing our timetable such that we can also help our learners to grow? And then, sorry, I have a third question. How do you manage language barrier when you're in a community where you don't understand their language? Your learners, the best way you can communicate to them is using their local language. When you're communicating in English, it's like they see some parts as difficult for them. So how do we utilize or to come around in that kind of scenario? Thank you.
Okay, the next person can ask his question. Crownton. I don't know whether it's
all right.
Okay, so you can turn on your camera.
I really want to commend Mrs. Bumi Anani for the presentation. I'm really too much from her presentation. But my question is, I want to start repeating from what others have said. Other people have questions. At least I've also picked 1 or 2 things. And major point of question is that others have not able to ask. Balancing in between completing of scheme of work and trying to meet up with the slow learners in class, because scheme of work have been set and you have to cover it within the stipulated weeks. and you have a low learner in class, and you, a teacher with conscience, you should believe that, okay, until the last learner is able to get what you are imparting before you probably go to the next topic. And the school management or the Ministry of Education is probably those within the government school that they come from quality assurance will come and check all what you have been doing. Or you explain to the school management or you explain to the quality assurance that because of some selected students, that has stopped you from covering your scheme of work. Because you are waiting for some set of students that they don't understand. That's why you not proceed to the next topic. Because you want them to understand the topic. You want to carry them along. You want to ensure that all the learners are being carried along. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I said my question is just that. I only have one question.
Okay, thank you. So Ma Bumi, over to you. You can answer that. Okay. I didn't even know that you were muted.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Talking about how do you handle slow learners in your classroom? Now, the point of the matter is this, because at the end of the day, the slow learner is going to write the same examination with the fast learner. And the teacher with a conscience, the teacher that has a conscience, cannot afford to just, to abandon, the slow learner. These are the options available. Number one, the teacher should be sure to communicate the situation of things to his or her direct supervisor. The school management must know the situation of things with that learner. That is why documentation is key for the teacher, even if you're working in a public school. It may not be in the public school system for teachers to keep documents, to write a report on a learner and submit to the head of the department. But who says that you must follow the popular culture? You can carve a niche for yourself and create your own style. So you write an up-to-date report on the learner to the school system, let them know. Then number two, you could even suggest to the school management to invite that child's parents. Let them invite the parents. Your consistency in making sure that the school system, that the school management does the right thing by inviting that child's parents into the office for a heart-to-heart talk will go a long way in helping that slow learner. Then what about in the event that the parent does not come? Perhaps, some of those children are, house helps to families. You still make it an imperative. You make it important. You let the parent or the guardian see the imperative of attending the meeting that has been fixed for his or her benefit. Now the parent has come. You need to let that guardian or that parent understand the nature of that learner. What are the factors responsible for that child's slow learning pace? Is the child their child, or is the child bogged down with chores at home? Is the child going through a psychological trauma? Perhaps there is domestic violence in that home. We need to get to the root of the situation. Why is that child a slow learner, or is that child naturally a slow learner? One thing I do know about slow learners is that initially they can be slow, but they get to a point in their life where they pick up. Some are very fast and some mature early when it comes to learning receptivity, while some children actually attain that maturity later in life. So it is very important for the school authorities to investigate the roots or the root cause of the child's challenge in learning slowly. It could be a family issue, it could be a psychological issue, and it could be natural. Then having discussed it with the parents, you, the teacher, you've taken the step. So what are the solutions? Can the teacher afford a lesson teacher for the child? Are the parents reticent about getting a lesson teacher that will aid the child's growth and development so that the child will develop at par with other fast learners within the classroom? Let us give an instance where the parents do not have the wherewithal. They cannot afford an extra lesson teacher. Now the onus lies on the teacher. Teacher, if you really want to help that learner, you must create time for that student. You classify your learners. Of course, that child may not be the only slow learner in the class. Why don't you just create, even if it's just 30 minutes of your time? Some learners need individualized, personalized, custom-made teaching style for them. You have to make the sacrifice, teacher. If you really, really want to go by your conscience, it is only teachers who don't have any conscience. That block, their heartbeats to the cry, to the silent cry of that slow learner. If you really want to help the slow learner, like the steps I have itemized, carry your supervisor along. Let the school management know about it. Be consistent, be insistent about the inviting the guardian or the parent of that child for a meeting. Get to the root of that child's challenge. And if the parents cannot afford an extra lesson teacher and they cannot even teach the child, maybe because they are illiterate, they are not so well educated, take it upon yourself, teacher. Do it. 30 minutes, 45 minutes of your time, it will not detract from your activities as a person. You could. People have made such sacrifices. And you could, like I said, peer learning. You can co-opt another learner. Somebody taught me mathematics in secondary school. I was an average student, but I met a classmate, not a classmate, but he was in another stream. He was in the sciences, and I was in the commercial class. I met him. I said, Wally, please, you need to help me. I'm an average student in mathematics, and I am going to write WAEC. I can't afford to fail. And he was putting me through. So as a teacher, if the learner is not confident enough to meet with a peer, why not co-opt a peer? Let that peer, that classmate, that senior assist you in helping the slow learner catch up in the classroom. And you can even make the sacrifice by being part of that child's development and success story. Just a little sacrifice to go a long way in helping that slow learner. Not forgetting your methodology as well. You can print more exercises, more practice, work for that slow learner. Before you know it, before long, that child will become a very fast learner. It's just a question of time and your personal investment in that child. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I know, but Mommy Ayo spoke to me too. That kind of him sometimes. So
No,
I didn't get
I'm
that.
not sure.
Okay.
I'm not. I think that's just a slight distraction. I'm trying to find the voice so I can mute. Okay. So yes, thank you so much, Ma Bumi and Nani. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This has been amazing time with you, and you've shared a whole lot. Moshko Ajikobi has a presentation, a spoken word presentation for the house, and I'll be calling him up, P7, to do his presentation. Before then, I would want to do a 1-minute recap, or let me say what stood out for me in the presentation by the delivery by our phenomenal Bumi and Nani. We've had a very wonderful conversation sometime. We had a very wonderful conversation sometime last year, and I could just feel the burning passion for the system to actually help move things forward. Some things she said stood out for me. The fact that yes, the school curriculum is getting outdated. What we are currently operating in most institutions, not just primary and secondary, because that seems like it's what we talk about most of the time, but even universities, it's painful that a lot of people go to school now, come out, and they are almost empty-handed and empty-headed. A lot of people can't even defend what they went to school to study. So there's need to actually look into the curriculum and do a revamp, do a complete renovation. Talk about soft and hard skills gap. She mentioned about skills gap, the fact that there are necessary skills that are needed in in schools to impact in this younger generation, these young ones at any level. But at the end of the day, you find out that it's lacking. Communication skills. The average graduate doesn't even know how to communicate via text or how to write a simple letter and all those things. There are so many things that we need to actually start focusing on or bringing up in in our schools as educators. What else she talked about is research and CPD, continuous professional development, which is why you are here. Okay.
a great teacher should be able to make research, to be able to create bias-free learning. Most times it's trying to adapt to learning models or styles or content that are not really flexible enough, that make people not come out with great results. I mean, I'm not talking about grades here, but I'm talking about real, tangible results in life. Now, she mentioned extracurricular activities as well. She mentioned, I wanted to particularly say something here about what happens in the university when a lot of people, go to school and we've done a lot at primary and secondary level. Who is this person? Okay, and when you get to university,
You said
okay, so when you get to the university, you find out that, okay, let me give an example, a general overview. For example, in primary school, you do some stuff. In secondary school, they tell you, don't worry about this one. You'll do it in the university. And by the time you get to the university, they will tell you, this is a university and not a secondary school. You were meant to learn this in your secondary school, so there's no need bringing it up here. You ask questions and nobody answers your question, or the lecturer makes you look foolish. So at the end of the day, it's like a loop, very, very dangerous loop that a lot of people end up inside. She talked about leveraging tech and digital tools, which is also outstanding. It's something every educator should look into. And then finally, the teacher as a role model, as a mentor, as a guide. That is very beautiful, because a lot of times you find out that, most teachers, even in the primary and secondary institutions, have tried to adapt to the lecturer method or the lecture method of training delivery, or the lecture method of teaching, where they don't even bond with the students, where they don't connect to the students, or they don't set good examples. So this is massive. This is an entire master class on mindset, on teaching, on education, and I really, really appreciate her for that. We appreciate you, the whole of Emerald Edu Concepts and Services. We appreciate your time for being here, taking all the time. It's almost 2 hours. My goodness, that's it's huge. It's huge. So we say a very, very big thank you for that. So over to P7 for your presentation, your spoken word presentation. Are you? Let me see. Let me see. Yes, Moshko, I believe I pronounced that correctly. If I didn't, let me know. So I'm going to ask him to, okay, good. Moksha is now on stage.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Moshkur. Ajikobi. Yeah, and my pen name is P7. I'm sorry, I will not be able to put on my camera because the electricity has not been restored here yet. Okay. I'll begin the poem, and the title of the poem is Beyond the Classroom. In the beginning, I took education from my mother's breast and from my father's tongue too. And when language sprouted from my young mouth, my father dragged me to a classroom. They call it kindergarten, where A is for apple, and B is for ball, and C is for cat. And when I grew up to the standard of secondary school, Mr. Olabode said that the world is spherical, like a ball, or something like an egg. If the world is an egg, it is definitely subjected to brokenness. Brokenness means the life of the less privileged in the island of River Niger. Our leaders call education the key to success, but they clench to the key like the lion grapple his prey. And when they release the key, we wonder and wonder, finding the locked success. Is it kept in the classroom or in the kindergarten, where A is for apple? Here, What you study doesn't really matter. It is who you know and who knows you. This country has engraved some lessons in my head. Education is not the key to success for everyone. There is more to B for ball and C for cat, but beyond the classroom. God has a unique reason for giving us two hands, but not all their usefulness is learned in the classroom. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's appreciate him for that. You can turn on your camera and clap for him. I mean, this is nice. This is nice. He passed a very, very subtle
Wow,
yet
wow,
very
wow.
big message. Yeah.
Well
So
done.
let us
Well
for him and encourage him. It's not easy to come on and share your thoughts or share or express yourself like that. That's really great. Okay, so thank you once again. Moshkur. I called it Moshkur before, but now I think I know better, so I can pronounce it correctly.
Yeah. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
good.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Good. So now we'll be introducing our partners.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. We'll be introducing our partners very briefly. And I think the one already on the screen is the STEM Educator Training Program. Okay, you can see it right there on the screen. Yes, you can see it on the screen, the STEM Educator Training Program. The Science Crew Educational Consult in partnership with Emerald. This is going to hold from the 1st to the 30th of November. I hope you can see this on screen. I hope it's showing on on yours. Oh, you can't. Okay. Let me quickly do. I don't know who has been sharing this particular slide. I have not been able to figure it out. There's something showing on the screen now with markings on it. We have no hand in that. We don't know where it's coming from. We've not been able to, block it out. But just ignore it. Okay, let me pull up the images. Okay, so if you are the one, please turn it off. I don't know how. I've been trying to do that since, or unfortunately I've not been able to. So let's get on to our partners. Okay, I'll be doing that one after the other. So I've talked about this is the one I'm talking about currently, and that is this term. It's still not showing. What's wrong? Can you see the flyer now?
No, we can still see
we can
Telegram page.
I can see it.
Okay, STEM Educator Training Program.
The flyer is
not showing. I can't see it.
Okay, I think you can try.
Flyer is showing on my own though.
Oh,
the flyer is showing on my
wonderful.
screen.
Okay. So the Emerald in partnership with the Science Crew. I think what's going to happen is we'll still send all this to the Telegram group so you can get all the information there. Even if it doesn't show here, don't know why this is happening. Some people are seeing the flyer and some people are not, because I have my system here and this is what I have on my device. Okay, that's the flyer, and it's actually showing me that it's showing on the screen. But here on my system, I can only see one Telegram group that I can't figure out how I could take it off. So yeah, the STEM Educator Training Program is going to teach you a lot of things. You're going to learn science curriculum, computing curriculum, coding, and robotics. Okay, so you can actually take this and impact your learners. And the price of the training is just 15,000 naira. Wow, it's just 15,000 naira, $40, and it runs from the 1st to the 30th of November 2022. It's online self-paced course, and it's on Zoom. Okay, live sessions on Zoom. So if you're interested, you can contact 090-160-5019. Now, this is going to be available on the platforms, okay, on the Telegram group, the Telegram channel that brought you here, or wherever you saw the information. We are going to ensure that, you know, and you registered. Yes, you registered, so the details can also be sent to your mail. But just be rest assured that you have the information, especially on the Telegram platform. So let me go to the next one and share the next one so that you can see as well. So let's go to this. So once it shows, let me know if you can see it. Let me know if you can see the next one I'm going to share. And that is this, yeah, Vanguard. Okay. So can you see this on my screen? On your screen?
Yes, I can see this.
Okay,
can
good.
see it, sir.
So they're also into you know,
Well,
they're
I
also
can't
into
see it.
teacher training, educator training programs. They offer you can see the flyer, the mission and the goals. They will teach you a lot of things, from developing your plan, managing and developing operational plans and all that. Okay. And international school management, marketing plans, and the rest of them. So let me also share the next one so that you can see as well. That is the I'm just trying to get this together. Our partners, okay, these are our major partners. We have School Linker here, we have Radio Alakada, we have Alakada TV. Okay, now let me also share this one. This is this is a magazine, okay, and it's just 1,000 naira. You can grab the magazine. There are a lot of interesting topics there, by Keisha Chopi, right? Yes, the Global Teacher Prize winner 2021. So you can grab a copy of your. Okay, yes, I think these are the featured articles in the magazine that you can grab. The magazine is Nation by Nation Builder. Yes, the maiden edition. So you can grab the magazine. It's just 1,000 naira. Okay, so you can also get that. Then the next one is I've talked about Radio Alakada and Alakada TV. What am I sharing? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to, let me quickly share this as my screen so that you see it. I'll share them as my screen so that it will be a lot easier for me. So it's going to be faster for me to do that. Sharing my screen. Okay, so this is it. Can you see my screen now?
No, we can't see your screen. We're still stuck at the FUS console group.
I still can't find out why this is happening. It's not meant to be. I still can't find out. Okay, I think what's going to happen.
I can see your screen. I can see your screen.
I can see your screen, sir.
Okay. Okay, so we have the Alakada TV. They are our media partners and they are live on YouTube and Zoom on the 29th of September to. Okay, I think this is just about the conference. So these are our official our media partners. Yes. So Alakada TV, they are official media partners for this conference. So if you want to reach out to them, you can always do that. The same as Alakada Radio. And this is the one I just shared earlier, the STEM Educator Training Program that is available from the 1st of November to the 30th. And yeah, we also have School Linker as our official partner and Peak Performance University. Okay, so if you want to partner with us, if you want to sponsor our events, next events, you can always contact the number on the flyer, or you can reach out to us via mail. If you have any observation, any feedback, anything, you can reach out to us via mail. You can reach out to me. I don't think there's need to reach out to me personally, because there's a mail in the website. You can reach out to us through the email. But I know subsequently this information will be shared, so I don't want us to spend so much time anymore. We've gone with okay, and we apologize for all the glitches. It was not intentional. Okay, these are issues beyond our control. It was a lot of work put this together, and I want to appreciate all of you for being here till this moment. I want to appreciate all of you. I know the sacrifice, especially those who are working 9 to 5. You have to be back came to do this, or whether you're an entrepreneur, whatever. We sincerely appreciate you for this. Okay, so I think I'm going to take a quick picture so you can turn on your camera as I call in Sir, the Emerald boss himself, Sir Adiola, to take over for the closing remark. Okay. So yes, we apologize. We know this may have not been the perfect one. So we really apologize for all the glitches, especially this thing I'm seeing on the screen. I don't know where it's coming from, and I know some of you are also seeing it. We don't know. I don't know. Okay, I've tried all I could to handle that, but things not working out. So thank you all for coming, and welcome, Mr. Adiola, as you take the closing remark.
Sorry, it says we are viewing Munir Ibrahim screen, so maybe he needs to.
Okay, let me see. Oh yeah, let me see. I've stopped sharing. Okay, because I think I was sharing with my. Okay, let me Ibrahim. I can't even find
Khalifa. I think Ibrahim Munir Khalifa. Munir Ibrahim Khalifa.
Okay, let me look for Munir. Okay, yeah. Allowed to. I can't see anything that would make me, or should I take him out of the room? I don't. Oh. Okay.
You can just ask him to stop
See.
sharing.
I didn't see any command to make him stop sharing. So I think I'm just going to. I didn't see any. I've tried stopping him from sharing the screen. So we can. Okay. So we need to close. I'm going to call on Sadiola to take over from here. Thank you very much. Thank you all very much. I didn't see any command to make him stop sharing.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Once again, it has been a nice time.
I didn't see any. I've tried stopping him from sharing the screen. So we can.
We'll be closing the sessions now. I want to say a very wonderful thank you to the moderators, the partners, and everyone Tomorrow evening, we are going to come back here again to have another session.
Sorry, we've lost audio.
We'll be having all of them come on board to talk about this. I think one of the things we also need to do, I think is to be put on the groups and everywhere. When we are coming, we should make sure we mold ourselves. This is a professional gathering, and of course, teachers are also professionals. So whatever dealings we need to do, we need to be professional as much as possible with it. Background noises and the likes should be removed. And of course, you are coming for a gathering of intellectuals as well. So we should know how we do that. So, but on a good note, I also recognize Adverse. Adverse is one of our partners, key partners for this program. And of course, Adverse is bringing information to your learning and activity and school management activities. So we'll be dropping their information if you want Adverse to take over the administration of your school in terms of management, inputting technology and the likes. So Adverse can take over it. So there is more to come. There's more and more to come in this conference. It's just the beginning. This is just the beginning. I can assure you of that. And of course, like the moderator have said, is a whole lot taking our time. But of course, by God's grace, tomorrow the time will be strictly what it should be. On that note, let me say that welcome officially to the Educators Conference 2022. And of course, we are going to learn a whole lot. I can assure you of that. More and more is still coming. The moderator shared a particular information some times ago. I don't know. About this. Keisha will be coming live on Sunday, God willing, and of course, she is the cover. This magazine is actually by the Emerald Edu Concept and Services. Our speaker, lecturer for tonight, Nani, also featured in that magazine. Keisha also featured in that magazine, and the magazine will be officially launched on Sunday. It's going to be amazing. We are going to have live performing bands. We are going to have comedy. We are going to have spoken word again, and music as well. So it's going to be a wonderful time. So tell your friends, tell everyone that has not registered, let them register for the conference. We are going to gather together as educators. Of course, on Saturday, we are still going to have a panel session where everybody will voice out their minds about issues. And then more importantly, may I say that conferences like this do well to network with people. You have between now and tomorrow evening again, you have a lot of educators. As our current, we have over 1,200 educators that have registered for this conference from about 15 countries of the world. I think that's a good number. So do well to network with as many people as possible. Collaborate. There's the collaboration is coming from. Of course, on Sunday, we're also going to be launching a project called School Reach Africa Project. We have run the pilot where we have reached about 920 students across 4 states in Nigeria. Now we are going to be launching the project officially on Sunday as well. So you get to also have the opportunity to impact your local community. So more is still coming, but in the meantime, make sure you collaborate and network with teachers like you and see how you can collaborate to make the world a better place. On that note, thank you so much for being part of tonight's meeting, and God bless you. We'll meet tomorrow, God willing. Thank you. Chijoke, you can take it over and end the meeting.
Thank you. I really enjoyed tonight. Thank you. It was impactful.
Thank you. So bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.